Have you ever had a dream that felt so big, so real, it seemed almost impossible? A dream that maybe even felt like a message from someone or somewhere beyond? Well, today we dive into the incredible story of a young man named Joseph, whose dreams were a direct gift from God, but they ended up leading him down a path filled with trouble long before they brought him any glory. Let's travel back in time. Joseph was one of the 12 sons of a man named Jacob. Now, in a big family, there are always dynamics, but in this one, it was clear who the favorite was. Jacob loved Joseph deeply, more than any of his other sons. To show this special affection, Jacob gave him a stunning, beautiful coat of many colors. Imagine a teenager wearing the most exclusive designer jacket while his brothers had plain, ordinary clothes. You can probably guess what happened next. That coat became a symbol, not just of his father's love for him, but of the jealousy that was brewing in the hearts of his brothers. They saw that coat, they saw their father's favoritism, and their resentment began to grow day by day. Then came the dreams. One night, Joseph had a vivid dream. He saw himself and his brothers out in the field, all of them working together, binding sheaves of grain. It was a normal, everyday scene. But then something extraordinary happened. Suddenly, Joseph's sheaf of grain stood up, perfectly upright. And then, one by one, all of his brothers' sheaves gathered around his and bowed down to it. It was such a powerful image. Full of excitement, Joseph woke up and couldn't wait to share it. He ran to his brothers and told them every detail of what he had seen, but their reaction wasn't what he expected. Instead of being amazed or curious, they were furious. Their jealousy, which was already simmering, now boiled over into anger. They looked at him with scorn and said, "Do you really think you're going to rule over us? Are you going to be our king?" From that moment on, their hatred for him wasn't just a quiet feeling. It was a fire that grew stronger with every passing day. They couldn't even speak a kind word to him anymore. You would think after that reaction, Joseph might have learned to be a bit more cautious. But soon after, he had another dream, even more spectacular than the first. This time, he looked up at the sky in his dream and saw the sun, the moon, and 11 stars all bowing down before him. It was a cosmic vision, a scene of immense honor and authority. Once again, feeling the weight of this incredible vision, Joseph felt compelled to share it. He told his brothers, who were already angry with him, and this time he also told his father, Jacob. Even Jacob, who loved him so much, was taken aback. He rebuked Joseph, saying, "What kind of dream is this? Do you mean to say that I, your mother, and your 11 brothers will all come and bow down to the ground before you?" It seemed like an absurd and arrogant thing for a young boy to suggest. Publicly, Jacob scolded him, perhaps to temper the growing anger among his sons. But privately, the story tells us that Jacob kept the dream in his mind. He didn't just dismiss it. Something about it stuck with him, and he pondered its meaning, wondering what it could possibly signify for his son's future. For Joseph's brothers, however, there was no deep thought, only deeper jealousy. Their hatred for Joseph was now out of control. It wasn't just about the colorful coat anymore. It wasn't just about him being their father's favorite. Now, it was about these dreams. They believed that God himself had revealed a future for Joseph that was far greater than their own, and they simply could not stand it. They saw him not as their little brother, but as a threat, a reminder of their own perceived insignificance in the grand scheme of things. This toxic mix of jealousy and anger was a ticking time bomb, and it was about to explode. Not long after the dreams, Jacob sent Joseph out to find his brothers, who were tending the flocks some distance away. Joseph, unsuspecting and obedient, set off on the journey. He had no idea that this simple errand would be the turning point of his entire life. He was walking directly into a trap laid by his own family. As his brothers saw him approaching from a distance, they didn't see their brother. They saw the dreamer, and they began to plot. This moment, born from two divine dreams, was the beginning of a long and painful betrayal. So what can we learn from this first part of Joseph's story? First, it shows us that God can and does communicate with us in mysterious ways, sometimes through dreams and visions that paint a picture of our future. Second, it's a powerful reminder that not everyone will understand or support the calling on your life. Your biggest vision can sometimes provoke the biggest opposition, even from those closest to you. Third, it teaches a lesson in wisdom. Sharing your dreams is important, but sharing them without wisdom, without considering the hearts of those you're telling, can cause unnecessary conflict and trouble. And finally, perhaps the most important lesson is this: a delay does not mean a denial. God's promise to Joseph was real, but the path to its fulfillment was not going to be easy or quick. Joseph's dreams did come true, every last detail of them. But before he saw them become a reality, he had to walk through the darkest valleys of his life. He was betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery in a foreign land, and wrongfully thrown into prison. It seemed like his life was moving in the exact opposite direction of his dreams. But through it all, God was with him, shaping his character and preparing him for the incredible purpose he had planned. So if you have a dream, a calling from God that feels too big to handle, take courage from Joseph's story. Trust the giver of the dream, even when the path is confusing, painful, and looks nothing like what you imagined. The journey might be hard, but the promise is secure. Thank you so much for watching. If you are moved by the story and want to find out what happens next, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We'll be continuing with part 2, Joseph sold into slavery. You won't want to miss it. See you in the next video.